Francois and the founder of In Good Clean Taste. I am dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs design a healthy lifestyle by incorporating healthy, delicious tools, tips, and resources that empower their inner and outer game. Every episode, my featured guest and I share our healthy, delicious lifestyle journey on my globally recognized show, Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here on Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine. Today's guest is so awesome. She is a dear, dear friend of mine. So much fun. I cannot wait for you to meet her. So I will bring her up in just a second. If you are interested in learning more about me, my products, and my services, you can always check those out at ingoodcleantaste.com. So today's topic, how to incorporate Feng Shui into creating delicious weekend vibes with Bridget Flynn. Yay! So I'm going to bring Bridget up from the green room in just a moment so you can experience all the amazingness she is. Let me tell you a little bit about her first. She is the owner of Divine Organizing, a boutique home organizing and decorating firm. She is an intuitive who creates beautiful, inspiring spaces in homes and offices that reflect her clients' personalities and businesses. Bridget has a keen understanding of how energy affects space and has been infusing homes with high vibrations and warmth and joy since 2014. She lives in Southern Connecticut and serves clients all across the US. So I am going to bring her up from the green room. Here she comes. It always takes a minute. I need to get faster at that. Uh-oh, and I've muted her. Let me unmute. Hi!
I'm unmuted. Hello, darling.
Hey, how are you? So good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
I am very, very glad to be here with you, my sunshine friend.
Yay! So Bridget and I were just talking about before the show of all the things we have in common. And it's funny because we didn't meet until, 2019?
Yeah, it was.
But we have shared similar interests. We both lived in France for a time.
Oui.
We both love musicals. We both have musical Tourette's.
A little bit. Is that what your husband calls it? Musical Tourette's?
Yes. We both love delicious food. I think you were naming some others, but there's a lot, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Also, it's that entrepreneurial mindset that we share that I love to connect with women on and my women friends. So
yes. And I like to say I'm an accidental entrepreneur because most people know I spent 20 some years in accounting, and most accountants are like not entrepreneurial by nature because we're, more conservative and like don't take risks, but life happens. And so there we are.
it's meant to be.
I know. So one thing I want to ask you that I ask all my guests first thing is, what does a healthy, delicious lifestyle mean to you?
That question had me thinking because over the last few years, I've been creating life more and more with intention. And it made me really think about my word for 2023, which is health and healing.
Oh.
So 2 words, health and healing. But creating a healthy and delicious lifestyle for me, I've realized, is about, number one, it's about my health, because everything in my life starts and ends with me. And if my health is not if it's not good, if I'm not feeling vibrant, then the results in my life are lacking vibrancy. If I'm feeling dull, I'm dull, which is
yes.
boring.
And as women entrepreneurs, I would say that is super key, right? Because like our business is our life and our life is our business, and how we show up. So I'm going to call that a juicy citrus moment. That's what I'm calling that right there. Yes. Your health is number one top priority. Absolutely. Love it. And I would say that you experienced that a couple years ago when we went through a program together, right? You were like, why do I feel so much more energy right now? Why do I feel so much more vibrant and alive?
Gosh, yes. So I'm from Connecticut, and we eat a lot of sandwiches. We eat a lot of Italian food. It's a lot of heavy on the processed food, heavy on the grab and go. And then I went through. I started my business back up in 2019 here in Connecticut, and I wanted to feel really, really good while I did it. And so I contacted you and I was like, Claudine, help me. I feel terrible. And you made me eat a ton of sweet potatoes, and which I loathe, and I still hate sweet potatoes. My mother could not believe how many more sweet potatoes were consumed in that month than I'd ever eaten in my entire life. But
I think that was because it was like a fall program, right? It was like something specific to that.
Yeah. But I remember I woke up on day 2, and my leg no longer achy. Like I didn't have the pain in my hips. I was like, is my inflammation reducing already after 24 hours? I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. I was floored because I had never experienced that on any sort of a program.
Yeah, and it's crazy how much putting good things, I call it the crowding out. So you're putting good things in your body. You don't have enough room for the processed stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing what a difference that can make in your body really quickly.
Yeah.
Is what you experienced. So I really want to get into the wonderful things you have to share with our viewers / listeners today, because you have some really great intuition. You have some really great knowledge, and there's so much that you bring to working with a client, or just sharing your information with people, that I think like everyone's just gonna be floored. So one thing that we talked about was your healthy, delicious lifestyle share, which is in your journey to create a healthier lifestyle, you realized how important good hydration impacts how you feel and how you perform, because water has magical effects. Tell us more about that.
Water is so magical. So I've always enjoyed drinking water. Like if I ever have the choice, it's either champagne or water, So, but it was when I was in high school, and I learned that our bodies are 70% water, and it blew my mind, and I was like, food to water consumption ratio was not optimal. I was like, I need to drink more water. And so as I did, I saw like I was sleeping better, my mood would improve. And they say, like, over the years, just learned that so much of hydration impacts our mood, how we function, our ability to think, to cope, everything. And then when I was studying more of like the spiritual side, the energetic side of life, I learned about Dr. Masaru Emoto, and how he studied for decades how words impact water. So impact water molecules. Yes. It delights me every time. Like I look at him like, that's so magical, because he would just like put the word peace on a jar of water and let it sit for 24 hours, and then put the water under the microscope, and the water had transformed from like some like gnarled tap water molecule into this beautiful symmetrical water molecule. It was a work of art, one water molecule. And when you consume that, it merges and meshes and with all the water in your body and impacts you. So I thought that was just incredibly magical. I still do.
So great. And I was going to say this till later, but I'm just going to bring it up now because I think that's so cool. Tell us about this. I love this. Is beautiful. Let me see. You told me what it was called. It is a Sunny Days ceramic tabletop water fountain. Tell us more about this thing. This is one of this is one of Bridget's picks, her feng shui picks to help with weekend vibes. And I really want to know, like, what does this do for you? What is it? How does it impact your energy? Tell us.
Pretty appropriate. Okay. So in feng shui, feng shui is about creating the energy of space, or adjusting the energy of space for your optimum health, wealth, abundance, all the good, juicy things in life. And you want to put, and I'm going to talk in very general terms, that things that everybody can use in feng shui in their lives. So water is about movement. Water is also about emotions, but in feng shui, it's really about movement. And so if there is a corner in your home that feels, or a room in your home that feels kind of like stagnant, you want to bring movement to it. So having a bubbling water fountain, it satisfies that. It starts to move the energy a bit. But what it also does is creates a serene environment, that
Mm.
gentle gurgling, it's like, you walk into a room with a fountain and it feels like a spa,
It's true. It's so true. Yes. I feel like, yeah, if you walk into a doctor's office and they have the water fountain gurgling or like something like that, it just automatically makes you feel more calm. Like, I don't know how it stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, what that entails, but it feels like it's definitely having an outsized effect on how you feel.
Yes, it definitely does. And I chose a very neutral tone, something that's very simple and easy, but any sort of a water fountain can do that. I just would avoid one with like a lot of like lights. You see them like on Amazon, especially, or on Wayfair.com, like it's like neon lights. I'm like, no. We calm, serene. There's already enough going on inside of myself. My life. I don't need neon on my water fountain.
Yes. Well, I love that. And we will definitely link to that in the show notes. So thank you for sharing that with us. So I love this next tip that you shared with me, and we're going to share it with everybody, which is I've learned to limit the amount of stuff I have. This frees up so much time, mental space, and physical space. I want you to talk more about this. I also want to talk about my experience with this in working with you. I don't know which we should do first. You want to expand on this first, and then I'll.
You talk.
Okay. Well, so it was March of 2020 that you came out here, right?
Yeah.
So for context, as we mentioned, Bridget lives in Connecticut. I live in California. Like, we could not be further apart in this country. But yet I was blessed that she was able to come out to California in early 2020, right before what happened. And I was super I don't know, somehow everything just like the universe aligned, and she was able to do some organization in my house, which was great because at the time I was running two businesses and I was consumed with the weight of my stuff. Like, I had piles of paperwork for the one business, I had ideas and other things for the other business, and I just felt like a mess. And I used to say, well, I still say this. I always used to say the state of my closet affects, or the state of my life is reflected in the state of my closet, right? Like my clothes closet. So like, and poor Bridget, bless her heart, she came out here and she looked at my closet and she sorted me out because I had stuff from different parts of my life in there. Like, I had spent 20 years in corporate. I had suits coming out of my ears that I was never going to wear anymore, or maybe wasn't going to wear that many. I didn't need one for every day, and several different versions of it. But I just had a lot of stuff that I'd outgrown, and it is hard for someone. I don't know, for a lot of people, I think it's hard to let go of things, right? But once she took me, she gently took me by the hand, but firmly told me to get rid of this stuff. And I will just say, like, I automatically felt lighter. Like, I felt my creativity come back. Like, it was almost like the weight of my stuff, even though it wasn't physically on my body, it was like it had been lifted, and I was able to think more clearly. I was able to to come up with ideas for my business. Like, it just was I don't know. How do you explain that, Bridget? What are the words I'm looking for to explain how I just was like, I can breathe again?
Oh, it's such a thing. I always feel like I, as an intuitive and a sensitive person, like, I'm sensitive to energy and sensitive to the energy of space. And I go into a space and it speaks to me. And so the physical manifestation of what's going on inside of you is the state of your home. So if I want to know what's going on inside of you, I will just I'll look at your clutter. I'll look at your surroundings. I'll look at the paint on your walls. Like, is it chipped? Do you have cracks? It's like, do you have a lot of light bulbs that are going out? Do you have mismatched light bulbs? I will look at your clutter. Where is it piled? Some people have a really neat kitchen or neat surfaces, but their mess is all like tucked away. Those people are really good at like putting forward a good face, but like hiding the mess, physical and literal. And so decluttering and organizing play a huge, huge, huge role in maintaining the energy of space, of your space. So if your space is cluttered, your mind is cluttered, you are inefficient, your productivity dips, you spend so much time looking for things. You spend so much money rebuying things that you already have. You just didn't know they were there. And you lack the systems to maintain anything, like I'll say anything good, but you lack systems. And if you lack systems, you are lacking structure in your life. You just spend your time reacting instead of being proactive.
Yes.
So yeah. Yeah. So I've learned it's like, it's not just about decluttering and organizing, but it's also about limiting the amount of things that I have in my home. So the fewer things that I have, the less I have to think about, the less I have to maintain. And that means the more time I can spend on what matters to me the most.
Oh, so good. One thing you said really, really hit on me. And that was when you were talking about like the light bulbs going out in your house and like basically how well have you maintained your house and that your house is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. And I think, especially us as women, we often don't spend the time to work on ourselves. And perhaps it's, if we look around us and we see like, do we have all this stuff that we haven't taken care of? Is that a reflection of how we're treating ourselves? Like is a reflection of our self-image, our self-love? We're getting deep here.
I always get deep. I love going deep. And I think most women would be loath to say that they lack like self-love. It's more about we're conditioned. Like I love myself. I just don't know how to show that I love myself.
Yes, that's a really good way of putting it. Yes. I feel like this is definitely like one of those healthy lifestyle moments.
So, yeah, so we are women, we are conditioned to put ourselves last, and I believe our homes are a physical extension of who we are. There's no disconnect between your inner self and your personal environment. And that's why I get a lot of my clients, is because they want to clean up. They want to clean up their homes. They want to declutter. They want systems in place so that they can flow through life.
Oh, I love that. And it's so true because I experienced it myself, right? Like, I think the best thing that you did, I can't rate them, but one of the best things that you did for me was that you cleaned out my pantry. And as we know, I like to eat. So my pantry, it's kind of busy. There's like a lot happening in the pantry because I'm spending quite a number of days, I'm going in and out of it quite a bit, right? And so you setting up that space, which 2019, it's now been, gosh, has it been 4 years almost?
No, yes.
3 years. Sorry. 3 years. Okay. Anyway, it's been almost 3 years. I've maintained that system. And so really, I'm just finding this thing. So I want to say that one of the best things you did for me was setting up that organizational system that I could then maintain. And it was for my pantry. It was for my office. Look at this beautiful office. That was a disaster when she first came in here.
It really was.
Like setting up that organizational system that I could just keep going with. That was perfect. And I will say that I don't know how you did it, how you found a one that would work for me, or maybe that's how you work, is you figure out what's going to work for each person. But I would say for anyone, finding the system that's going to work for you, because I know a lot of us will like follow someone on Instagram or whatever, and we'll try to implement their system. But if it doesn't work for us, it's not going to be something that we can maintain, right? So whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead. It's a lot. What?
I was gonna say it's everything on Instagram happens in about 5 seconds, and
right, sure, like that just got done.
Instagram. They should call it Mary Poppins Gram or something, because it's like everything happens in the snap of a finger.
It's true. And if it only did in real life.
Yeah. So it's creating sustainable systems is a key to success in organization. And you're the one that created the mess. So if you really have a mess, it's going to be very hard for you. Like Einstein, I think it was Einstein who said, you're never going to create the solution approaching the same mindset that you created the mess. you
So
know.
good. That's why I needed you. Well,
Yeah.
also because you like forced me, because I'm like a pack rat. I can't get rid of stuff.
You did a
You're
very
like,
good job, Claudine.
yeah, you're like, you don't need this.
You didn't. You didn't.
Well, that's the Marie Kondo thing, right? Like, do you love it? Does it bring you joy?
Mhm.
So we have keepsakes of things that I might not use all the time, but like I'm gonna keep my wedding dress. I'm not
Yeah.
wearing it every day. Or like the lingerie that I got for my wedding.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I love that. Um, okay, so let's there's another thing that where is it? Sorry, I have all
Well,
these
actually,
buttons.
wait, Claudine, I just wanted to say, because
Yeah,
yes, like how do I find that sustainable system for the client? You know, or how do
yes,
you find a sustainable system? All right.
yes.
So it's knowing about it's for me, I go in and I find out how the client thinks. I ask a ton of questions, I observe you, and I use my intuition to figure it out. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, you know, Claude loves to have everything like um not everything lined up, but it's more like, you know, which one does she use the most? Which does she use the least? What do the kids need to use? Like I approach it in a puzzle sort of way. And that is like how I create the sustainable system. I find what works for you, but I keep it very,
Mhm.
very simple and very clear. And that I think is one of my gifts is I make it very, very clear where things go and what things are. And that is the sustainability. You can just
Yes,
reach
the
and pull it out
labeling is great.
and putting it back. Yeah, yeah, it's the labeling.
I will say you inspired my husband. I don't know if I told you this.
No.
So you probably remember the state of the garage when you were here. It's like disaster, but it was like it was not my part of the house. Like, and he was not going to budge, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to laugh if he's watching this, but he's working. He's probably not watching it. He went after you left. He went and organized the garage. So we have like this outdoor pantry in the garage where we keep all of our extra stuff. He went and got shelving units. He went and got all the boxes. He went and got a label maker. I have to show you pictures because literally there's like the spices are organized alphabetically. There's like baking supplies. There's like the tomato, jars, cans of tomato. There's like all the different things that have their own spot, and I know where they are. It's crazy. Like all my kitchen stuff, like my extra pots and pans that I don't use all the time that are out there, like they have their own place. So like
Yeah.
just you setting up even the template, right, allowed him to then go, because he's not by nature a very organized person, bless his heart, but that template gave him like I guess the tools or even the idea of what he needed to do to make that happen. So I can't
A
thank you enough.
template. That's a perfect way to describe it because you take a look at it, you see exactly what I did, and then you just apply it elsewhere. So he
Yes,
did it.
I feel like that's a mocktail moment. All right. Right there we are. All right, so the other thing that I want to share about what we're talking about here that I love that I really got from you is fill your space with things you love. So we kept the things that were nearest and dearest to my heart, right? Like we kept the things, especially I'll use this example. My son, like many young boys, loves Legos, and like he would have cried his eyes out for days if we'd gotten rid of the Lego section. But the Lego section was like the bane of my existence, right? So you were like, okay, let's keep the ones that he's built like prominently displayed on this shelf. And then we'll have an organizational system for all the other pieces, like by color. And like, of course, they're labeled. So they look very nice. And it was like in a lovely shelving unit that I'm okay with because, my Pottery Barn aesthetic. I'm like, it has to look nice.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, when you work with your clients, how are you helping them determine what things are really important enough to keep and to have like a cherished spot?
It's a really good question. I assess the client first on like, how good are they at making decisions or like, are they, to let go? And like, or how sentimental are they? And we discuss beforehand, like, what it means to like what we can get rid of, so something
Mhm.
has to meet certain criteria, like there might be one client who like, can never have kids again. So she like wants to keep all the kids' artwork and the baby clothes. I'm like, I totally get it. You
Mm.
have the space for it, so we can keep, we can keep all of it. Or it's like, I totally get it, but we don't have the space for it. So either one, you rent storage, two, you purchase storage and put it on your property, or three, we really have to go through and take the ones that mean the most to you and keep those, dedicate one bin to each child, something like that. And so, but we predetermine what's going to happen, and that guides the decision making process. And I hold them to it. I hold them accountable for it. It's my job. So to give you the result that you want without making you want to stab me or cry or both.
No, I just wanted to give you big hugs and kisses at the end.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I love that. I really want to go through some of the things that you sent me. Like, I want to talk about this Tibetan singing bowl.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about this. Like, what is this that helps create a feng shui, happy, calm environment? Like, tell me about it.
Yeah. So I am all about clearing space. Like, it's my favorite thing to do is to clear space. And because we have a lot of clutter, like energy can't flow through your home when there's a ton of things blocking it. Like, think of energy as water and your clutter as rocks and your home the river. Okay, so that energy is trying to flow in your home, but it's like has to get around the rocks, and it's like all choppy, and and so you can see that reflecting in your life. Your life is choppy. You're the choppy water. So a part of creating, delicious, juicy, or just delicious vibes for the weekend. We all want to relax on the weekend. We want to be energized, but not like caffeined out. So a part of it is to clear the space. So if you tidy up, that's wonderful, but you still want to go through and then clear the energy of the space. And you can do that through sage. Not a lot of people like smoke. You can clear it through smoke, okay? But you can also clear it through sound. And I love to use either bells, or you can use a Tibetan singing bowl. And you can just go through and you can hold the singing bowl, and you can just you do your twirly thing around it, like you'll find your groove. You find your groove. And then you go through and you ding the bowl. And you'll hear it'll sound dull in certain spots. And you just keep dinging until intentionally dinging, do it with intention to clear the space. And you just keep dinging until it sounds clear. It's amazing how much sound can break up heavy energy.
Well, yeah, because the only time, I shouldn't say the only time, the first few times I've heard the bowls, the Tibetan singing bowls, is in yoga. And it's interesting because it's usually like when you're in Shavasana, and you're laying down, and they do the clearing, right? They'll do the sage or they'll do the bowls. And all of a sudden you feel like this vibration through your body. And when they're done, you still feel that vibration. Like, you're just like, it just changes. Something changes. The particles of sound and the particles of your body are just like, ooh, it's exciting place.
Yeah, that energy is it's the energy from the singing bowls is clearing your system, your chakras. It's clearing your energy field, and you can use it for your just to make a beautiful sound for yourself, to center, to ground yourself. There's a lot of ways you can use a singing bowl.
I love it. So tell us about the candle.
Oh,
this is a selenite and glass tea light candle.
Yes, I love selenite. It's a white, it's a neutral, so it goes with everything, first of all. Perfect. And then selenite it's like the only crystal that doesn't need cleansing, doesn't need to be cleaned. It is the cleaner. It's the cleaner of the crystals. So it automatically, you just put it into a space and it automatically starts to clean it. Okay. Isn't that nice?
I need to get this.
It's like the Roomba of crystals.
People, I'm linking this in the show notes. Everyone, let's get our selenite going on.
Get your selenite going. Selenite is inexpensive, and I just love the candlelight, the votive holders, because it adds such warmth and it sets such a mood. Once you put that candle, and it's a warm glow from the selenite, you're setting a mood. You're telling yourself it's time to relax. It's time to be calm. It's time to feel beautiful. And I just love it.
That is awesome. I'm so excited that you shared some of these tips. Well, all your tips have been amazing. These wonderful things that we can get to help clear our spaces, to help clear our energy, to get that happy weekend vibe, feng shui going. And, you have so much knowledge, and I so appreciate you generously sharing it with us. This is awesome. I could talk to you forever.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on the show. I'm going to drop you back in the green room. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Claudine, and I'm really glad to share everything that I know with your audience. Thank you.
Yay. All right, I'll come see you in a minute. Go grab a mocktail. Oh my gosh, wasn't that awesome? She's absolutely fantabulous. Yes, I made that word up. I will definitely be linking her feng shui recommendations in the show notes so that you can check them out. Thank you so much for joining me. And just remember, how are you going to create a healthy, delicious lifestyle for yourself today? And until then, join me for another episode of Healthy, Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine next Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and have a healthy, delicious lifestyle. Oops. Things are happening. Things are happening. Oops. Thank you for joining me today. You can learn more about me, my products, and services at ingoodcleantaste.com. Be sure to join me for another episode every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on my globally recognized show, Healthy Delicious Lifestyle with Claudine.